All right, here we go, everyone. Part 2. And if you want to get involved with this, you can spend your inspiration points. Those are your channel points. Inspiration. They look like that. To lock in a category. Now, Chase, are you still here? Because it looks like you did request a workshop dice roll. And I want to make sure you're here and can roll it. We haven't lost you. Also for this, I want you all to get out your Dungeon Master's guides. You all did bring your books to class, didn't you? You all brought your books to class, didn't you? If not, you're going to have to go to your friendly local game store and pick up a copy of the Dungeon Master's Guide. 5th edition, Kragar. GMV says D&D is for nerds. I mean, yeah. Duh. Goblin Town says my dog ate my henchman. What kind of a dog do you have, Goblin? It's eating your henchman. The 4th edition? You know what? I might still have my 4E books around. Some of this might be able to translate over because there's thematic storytelling regardless of edition. All right. Dang, I guess I have to go to our local game shop. Oh, I know. Rob, if only you had a friendly local game store that carries a wide variety of role-playing books, Pokemon cards, and other things that might interest you. All right, well, if you crack them open if you got them, everyone. And we're going to go to page 74 to begin this process. Now, we are going to make a villain for our NaNoWriMo experience. We know nothing about the setting. We know that we're going to write a fantasy, like we're using D&D as inspiration, but we're going to write a fantasy novel of some variety. I don't know anything about the setting. I don't have a hero in mind. This is a completely blank slate. Tabula rasa. Tabula rasa. And the first thing we're going to create is our villain. Because our villain is the load-bearing structure of our plot and of our story. So we're going to come down here. Chase, if you're not out here, I will refund your points. And you can always reclaim if you want. If only I had a really cool FLGS that wasn't a 30-minute drive away, but rather one from Ohio that I could order from once in a while, and they'd be really cool and ship things to show up at my front door. I know, if only. My DMG is a little different, but I've had no complaints from my captives so far, says Capo. What's it cost to lock in? Well, I'm not sure what you're asking, Orchid. Like what I would ask for if you wanted to have like an overnight lock-in to the store, like an event where everyone just plays D&D all night and you're locked in the store. In the old downtown location, I actually had lock-ins. They were a lot of fun. I asked everyone for 20 bucks. I bought a ton of pizza and drinks and everything, and then I would just keep the store open, and people would play board games, or they'd get on the computers in the LAN center, or they'd role play or just play cards all night. It was a ton of fun. We had a Lord of the Rings marathon one time. That was great. Yeah, what you're looking for, Orchid, is a workshop dice roll. It has a picture of a wrench and a hammer crossing each other. Hi, Twillis. Good to see you. All right. So, knowing nothing, let's create our villain. And I am going to call on Oh, you know what? We have a newcomer here. Styx, are you still with us? And if you luck in a dice roll, please tell me which category you want to roll for. That makes it a lot easier. With your message, with that, please let me know what you want to roll for. The Archon Phoenix, hello and welcome. You've been lurking. Quiet night at the warehouse, Willis? Insomnia Knight goes to lurk and was never heard from again. The end. Wow. All right, we might have lost Styx. Let's have. Well, I'll tell you what. Freestyle just cashed in a roll here. Freestyle, I want to know which kind of an adventure villain we have. Will you please type exclamation point 1D20 into chat, no space. Exclamation point number 1, letter D as in doggo, number 20. Did someone say they were sneaking in? I didn't hear anything. Freestyle, you roll a 20 and it stops on a 20. We have a misguided humanoid zealot. Okay. What is our villain's objective or scheme? Celtic lady who's clearly been here the entire time, all night, and has been dutifully paying attention, I would like you to type exclamation point 1D8 into chat. Two. All right. Our objective is influence. And in particular, Kragar, I would like you to type exclamation point 1D4. Also, hi, Coffee Man. Exclamation point 1D4 in chat, Kragar. Stops on a 2. Win a contest or tournament. All right, and in particular, Coffee Man, I would like you to type exclamation point 1D12. 12s don't get a lot of love. If it is odd, it's a contest. Evens, it's a tournament. Yes, Coffee Man is ready to naps Nemesis. You need a number 1. Exclamation point 1D12. Odd. All right. Win influence, and this is win a contest. Now, how are we going to win this contest? How is this misguided humanoid zealot going to win influence through a contest? We need a method. Ready to nap. I would like you to type exclamation point 1D20 in chat. Exclamation point 1D20. Stops on 18. Torture. And in particular, who do we have hanging out still? Insomnia Knight is lurking. Twillis, if you're there, can I have you roll a D6 in chat? Exclamation point 1D6. Good one, Celtic. All right, Villestria. When you come back, let me know and we can have you roll something too, if you're back in time. Yeah, the little shop. The Little Shop of Horrors. Torture, an interesting way to win friends and influence people, right, Goblin? It's creative. All right, so we do not have Twilla. Actually, Twilla said that it was a busy night. So Capodrazi, will you please give me a D6 roll? Exclamation point 1d6. Exclamation point 1d6. There we go. 5. Acid, blinding, branding, racking. Oh, thumb screws. Okay. And what is our villain's weakness? What is our villain's weakness? We have... Who do we have? Tio Mosfrio, it looks like you wanted to roll. Tio, can I get a 1d8 from you? Lands on a 7. The villain falls when an ancient enemy forgives its past actions. Excellent. Now, what is our villain's occupation and history? Well, that's, any of these could be things that we just want to create. And if you're writing your book, you are going to have these ideas yourself for your villain. For the examples we're making in chat, we're leaving it up to random dice rolls. I'm not going to worry about the occupation and history just yet. We're going to come back to that. Oh, we have a first-time chat from King Competens. I mean, if you're a zealot of some kind, maybe you have a group of peers you can gain significant standing in by delivering a gruesome torture experience to an enemy. And yes, keep that in mind, King. Keep that in mind, because as we reveal more and more about this character, what you said may very well hold true or only need slight tweaks to make sense. Now, what is the appearance? What is the appearance of our villain? Satirical Sage. Please type exclamation point 1d20 as punishment for daring to show up and participate in this friendly workshop. Also, hi everyone, says King. We are using the Dungeon Master's Guide, King. Plain old Core 3 rulebook DMG that you can get at your local, your friendly local game store. Stops on a 5 for satirical. Ragged, dirty clothes. All right, King Competens, will you please type exclamation point 2, letter D, number 6. No spaces. Exclamation point 2d6. Stops on a 4 and a 2. We have high int and low dex. This is probably why we need to screw over our competition. Now, do we have a particular talent that is on display? Let's have GMV. GMV, can you give me a 1d20 roll? Exclamation point 1d20 in chat. Exclamation point number 1, letter D, number 20. No spaces. Number 9. Great at impersonations. Okay. What kind of a mannerism does our villain have? And can I get Rip Artist to also give me a D20 roll? Is this kind of like a Saturday cartoon car races sort of villain? Well, I don't know. We're going to find out, Satirical. All the good torture pros are skinny non-athletes anyway, says Coffee Man. Rip Artist gives us a 13. Ah, fidgets. Karma, the goat. How does this person interact with others, if only an impersonation? Will you please give me a D12 roll, Karma? Yeah, fidgets with the thumb screws. Lands on a 12. Is very suspicious towards other people. Very sus. Useful knowledge? This is a black box. This is whatever we need the villain to know, the villain will know. I'm not worried about this in a dice in the generation of the character. Snidely Whiplash wasn't. Can't say that Boris Badenoff dressed well either, or Old Man Smingers, who tried to scare off those meddling kids. We were talking about Scooby-Doo style villains earlier too, Satirical. All right, now our ideal. We have some kind of an ideal as a person. Is there someone out there that has not yet gotten to roll for our villain? And you could also go, well, I mean, our ideal, we might already have that with the, the scheme, or, we know that this is a humanoid zealot or something. We'll get there. Is there anyone out there who has not yet rolled and would like to? We have 52 of you out there watching. All right, let's go for... Oh, Rob! All right, Rob. I would like you to type exclamation point 2D6. Oh no, Camp, you go to lurk instead of... Camp, do you have a minute? Can I get a dice roll from you real quick? Rob gives us a 2 and a 1. 1, 2. So it's an evil ideal of number 1, domination. All right, Camp, because this is interactive, I rely on my chat to step up and to help out. All right, real quick, Camp Custom Designs, exclamation point 1D10. You don't even have to look at the result. Just type exclamation point 1D10 and get out of here. Go get food. Run away. Run home, Jack. Run home, Jack. You roll the 1D10 and it lands on a 2. Ah, protective of close family members. And lastly, what is a flaw or a secret that this character has? And it's not quite lastly, because there's a couple more things that we can roll into as well. Let's see. Orchid Twilight, are you out there still? Pluto! Pluto, will you please type exclamation point 1D12 in chat? Yeah, we must have lost Orchid Twilight. But, Plutonian, exclamation point 1D12. It lands on an 8. A specific phobia of some kind. All right. Now, without getting into any other specifics, we already have a lot here that we can use to build our villain. However, when we say something like occupation and history, we can take things a little bit further than just this. And so let's go through a really quick character design as well to fill this in. Hero Dragon, exclamation point 1D100. Orchid Twilight, I would like you to type exclamation point 1D... Pardon me. Exclamation point 1D9. Yeah, it could be a phobia of blood. Alright, so we have a female character. And again, we're using just the core rulebooks for reference, since more people have access to those and SRDs and everything. 1D9. If I said 2, I'm sorry. It should be exclamation point 1D9. 8. Human. Alright. Not worried about alignment or character level or feats or anything like that. So let's come back here. So far, we know that we have a... Alright, who else is out there that hasn't had a chance to roll yet? Otherwise, I'll go back and I can call on people for a second time, but I want to give first time rolls to as many of you out there as possible. Goblin Town! Goblin Town, exclamation point 1D18 in chat. Exclamation point 1D18. Stops on a 15. A sailor. Okay. Very interesting. Now, we could stop here if we want, but I don't know. Let's keep going along here. Since we are using... I mean, we've been referencing Eberron. Let's include Eberron and open things up to perhaps an Artificer being available. Are there any other first-time rollers out there? Kroll! Hello! Kroll, exclamation point 1D13, please. Exclamation point 1, letter D, number 13, no spaces. Lands on an 8. A paladin, even. Ooh. And which kind of paladin in concept do we have? Let's go King. If I'm going to offer a second roll, let's go to those who have stopped by and are newer. King Competens, will you please type exclamation point 1D4 in chat? Are you going to give us a 3, I wonder? A 1. Ooh, Oath of the Ancients. And then Goblin Town, you are new here as well. I want you to type exclamation point 1D100. Exclamation point 1D100 in chat. 70. We have a middle-aged female human Oath of the Ancients sailor. And if we wanted, if you felt that anything else needed to be there, there's other charts as well. You know, we could add some moral ambiguity if we needed it. I don't know if we necessarily need it. We talked about it, and this is going to be a whole custom thing anyway. So this is our this is our villain. And let's take the concepts that we randomly rolled and find out what kind of a world would have a person like this in it. Now, I don't mind if we step sideways with a concept, but I want to stick to the things that we rolled, if only as a nice personal challenge, and to show you that stories can often write themselves, and we don't have to try too hard to go against what has been revealed to us by these random dice rolls. So our villain is a misguided, in this case, a human zealot. The objective or the scheme of this villain is to win influence through some kind of a contest. And the type of influence might very well be after the oath that she has sworn. That she will be the one who is very overzealous in her paladinhood, goes and tortures other people in order to prove that she is the most holy, that she is the most dedicated. And oftentimes, she will use torture, in particular thumbscrews, in order to, solicit confessions from people. The villain falls when an ancient enemy forgives its past actions. Is that redemption? Does the villain... Have a good night, Orchid. Thank you for hanging out with us. Is falling death? Is falling, actually breaking the oath? Is falling getting kicked out of the order? When an ancient enemy forgives its past actions. And you know what? You ain't a paladin if you're not making enemies. And in this case, in particular, it is fiends and fae, if I recall correctly, for the ancients paladin. Let's take a look real quick in the hubba 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 hey. We're going to go to bloop. 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 You can cause spectral vines. Use your channel divinity to utter ancient words that are painful for fae and fiends to hear. So not undead, but fae and fiends to hear. And so she'll often appear in ragged or dirty clothes, though is great at impersonations, and that could play into the ragged, dirty clothes. We have a very intelligent woman, though, I mean, look, paladins obviously don't, they can. This is a joke. Many paladins that people make don't, because they're like, I'm in full armor, I don't care, I don't need dex. But we do have a very intelligent person, but someone who is very, well, not just inflexible in faith or tolerance, but also is inflexible of body. She fidgets. She interacts with people in a very suspicious manner. You know what? I think we, just so you all know, if you're new here, there is an eerie occurrence that happens in our workshop. Some places have OWOs, and sorry, I'm gonna whisker. Some places have uwus. Here, we have iwis. Samu Bear, well, you know what, Samu Bear? I will give you an uwu. There you go, Samu Bear. And iwi stands for it writes itself. Yeah, it's just itchy. Thank you, Hero Dragon. The stories in our workshop have an uncanny knack at writing themselves. We don't need to struggle. We don't need to worry. Just taking a look at everything that we rolled, we are building a strong villainous character. Because she wants to take the land back from those Fae or fiends. And she is the one to lead the order to do so. She has to be great at impersonations in order to interact and even trick the Fae themselves, to trick the tricksters, to lure them into traps, to capture them, and to get information from them. She's protective of close family members. She's protective of other knights of her order. Though she has a specific phobia in something, and I wonder what that could be. It was mentioned perhaps a phobia of blood, which is why she uses thumb screws in her torture. Also, on that note, Hi Coffee Cat presents. A good group just needs an idea, I agree. If players find it interesting, the story will develop naturally. Exactly. Now, is it Samu Bear? Is it Sumo Bear? Like a bear that does sumo wrestling? Let me know how to pronounce your name, if you don't mind. King says she sounds like an interesting PC for the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. No, we didn't roll alignment, though. We can. Sumu like a cow. Samu Bear. Samu Bear. Samu Bear. Alright. She hunts the Fae, no gifts for her. Ready to nap? I would like you to type exclamation point. Oh! Well, not only do we have a coffee cat, we also have a macabre. It's macabre. I know, everyone. Don't type angrily. We have a lot of new people here. I do this for the funsies. We have Macabre Derek joining us. Had an undead swarm for my players, and I caught a little bit of that coffee. I also saw that that Dark Wolf was sketching up some scenes from it. What was the shouting at the zombie or whatever all about? Derek followed you? Oh my. It ain't right if it's pronounced correctly, I say. All right, then. So we will mispronounce it. Derek, I need you to type exclamation point 1D100. I want you to give me the alignment of our villain. And in the spirit of things, we are going to use the a penchant for evil distribution. Rolled a 51. We have a good old-fashioned neutral evil character. We have a neutral evil middle-aged female human Oath of the Ancients paladin with a background in being a sailor. Coffee Cat says the ghost had used its scream ability, but another ghost had already affected the team. So instead, Strings just screamed back at it and made fun of it with a vicious mockery. Love it. Now, here's something. Does the phobia of our villain play into her zealotry, her methods, or enacts a reason for her to want to become the head of her order? Ooh, some reveals. Are they a couple bullet points you're at liberty to talk about? I caught one with Rune earlier.
Sound a feasting horn.
Samu Bear, welcome to our table. Yeah, and Samu, thank you for finding us. As you can tell, there is quite a menagerie of animal named folk who are here. You are very much welcome in the hero zone. Little hint at Rune's true nature and how the Whispered One was a creation of Tharizdun, the Chained Oblivion. They learned the last part from a priest. Oh my. All right. You all have seen how this process can work. A detail that we need to also bring up. For her sailing background, does Sailor or can Sailor play into her phobia? Is she a sailor no more because something happened at sea? Is that what could have possibly put her on the road to zealotry? What if she encountered a sea hag, which is a fae, and that put her on the no fae, no hags, no sirens, and the undead swarm has the team wondering if the local lord is involved, since other similar swarms happened elsewhere in the slums too. Ah, so it wasn't an isolated incident. I see. Now remember, everyone, as we're going through this, I would like us to have a not poo tier villain. Okay? Now, whether or not you agree with the people who are listed, I want to look at the words. I don't want our villain to be poo tier. Villain has no thematic connection to the hero and is just a generic obstacle. At worst, I want a mid-tier villain, but I think we can do better. The villain has a thematic connection to the hero, and we'll generate the hero tomorrow. But we're looking for themes. Has a thematic connection to the hero, but it is a simple character with basic motives. A high-tier villain. The villain has both a thematic connection to the hero and interesting personal conflicts of their own. They are arguably the protagonist of their own story. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's aim for high tier. Or maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle and actually develop an Elder God tier villain where there is no villain. If you all want to see another style comparison, poo tier. Villains who are just evil or lust for power. Meh tier. Villains whose motives are a mystery and seem almost insane at times. This is how we would want the villain to look, but actually act more up here, okay? That's part of the revelation process of storytelling. Mid-tier, villains who are only obeying their nature and doing what they do to survive. I don't think this is going to fit a villain that we have just generated. I think we can easily have a high-tier villain or even a great-tier villain. A great-tier villain. Reluctant villains who only do evil things because of the situation they find themselves in. I'm sorry, that was great tier. High tier, or wait, did I? Oh, yeah, villains who are retaliating against misdeeds done to them. They may be seeking to change society as a whole. I think at the outset, just from doing this random roll villain creation worksheet, I think we automatically have a concept for a high tier villain. Right out of the gate. Just by rolling some random dice and talking about it for a couple minutes together. Oh, that was our goblin story from last night. Let's get our villain back. Lagan is convinced there's a necromancer involved. Did I tell you that time I slaughtered a godlike hero with a green rock because he caused my male pattern baldness, says Derek. Deck Strength Con joins us all the way from Springtime, Australia. I hope that you're continuing to enjoy, speaking of villainous actions, those villains in Australia are stealing the sun from us here in the north. 2 minutes at a time, or 2 minutes per day. Your comeuppance will be swift. Deck Strength Con. You villain. Great tier seems appropriate. Has the party ever made friendship with some kind of fae? We don't know yet. This is the first part of our story we're creating is the villain, because the villain is the load-bearing support of the entire plot. Of your campaign, of your novel, of your comic, of whatever. The hero, we'll get to the hero. We're going to follow along the journey of the hero. The hero is the train, but a train needs the tracks. The villain is already an established part of the world, who already has machinations, contacts, power, wealth, aspirations, machinations that span lifetimes, etc., etc. So we need to understand that first. In this case, the hero is irrelevant to the villain because the villain is already working on her goals. All right, get that paperwork done, Rob. Thank you for hanging out and helping us make our villain. And Coffee, I hope that the smattering of villains, the rogues gallery that you've created, will come to be explored in breadth and depth and truly be enjoyed by your players in your Rebirth game. And so for all of you, if you're a part of our creation, you're kind of like clutching your pearls, going, oh, "What? A misguided human zealot that wears ragged, dirty clothing and has an ideal of domination? How are we going to connect these dots?" And I get it. That's actually part of the fun about doing this process, because you sit back and go, "What are we going to do?" But now that we can look at everything, I think we have at least a high-tier villain. Man, Maddie, I've been here like half an hour, and you're one cool dude. I'm looking forward to joining you again, but I have to head off for now. Thank you for streaming. King, thank you for finding us, giving us a chance and hanging out. King, if you use Discord, please join us there as well for when I'm not streaming. We have a lot of fun stuff that go on there, including community events. And you are welcome to be a part of us on Discord. I also have a Facebook at The Hero Zone, Twitter at The Hero Zone. In fact, my YouTube is now at The Hero Zone as the nickname. You can also type !YouTube in chat. That old link should still work as well. Yeah, it could just be dirty, rusted armor. She might even wear that, so consider this too. Ready to nap. If the Fae traditionally frown upon metal, contact with metal, cold iron and such, if she wears rusty, if she wears like rusty plate or plate with like at all, let alone rust, think how threatening that is to a fae that she might be hunting. It would be like someone trying to track you down covered in blood. Right? Put yourself in the position of the fae. You have someone who specifically knows how to defeat you and is wearing your bane and is overt about it. It's rusty metal, and you know that if she gets you, she's gonna clutch you close to her rusty breastplate and like grate you, or use the thumb screws kind of a thing for inspiration. Yeah. For information. So to a lot of people, she looks like a disheveled old rusty knight. To the fae, that is sheer terror. Because the metal she's wearing is anathema to you. She is wearing, like, she might as well, again, be wearing, like, the blood of other people. The skins of whomever, right? Maybe she's a ship captain, and she's driving about the inhabitants of the Isles so the fae can pass over through a thin spot. Would be awful if she had the screws on her rusty armor. Oh yeah, so like catch a pixie, and then like starting up here, hang the pixie by its thumbs, almost like a holy symbol that she wears. Not quite like taking the wing, like plucking the wings off of a fly or a dragonfly or something. Oh, so instead of pocket sand, it's pocket powdered iron. Yeah, pocket rust. Pocket rust. See? Y'all are getting in the mood. Look at this creativity flowing off of the random prompts that we have. She'd have thumb trophies. Oh, she might have thumb trophies then. Or some equivalent of like centaurs, or I'm sorry, satirical, if you're still hanging out with us. Probably the hooves off of satyrs and centaurs. Karma the Goat, cover your ears as well at that. Yeah, it could very well be. And you know what? To the world that is from the perspective of the hero, might look a little weird. She might even be hailed as the savior, driving off those tricksy fae. You know, kind of weird, a little eccentric, but might be considered a local hero. And it's not until maybe the midpoint of the story that we're writing until they realize actually what is going on, and that there's a lot more to this hero than they suspected. After Foff says my stream dropped, repeating my post, circumstances or situations cross the path of the villain and the hero. For the hero, it's incidental. For the villain, it is of great importance. That gives some sympathy for the villain. It's that the hero acts from a position of morality or honor. The villain is justified, but takes actions that are extreme. Yes. Thank you, Afterfov. That's a very good point, and I'm sorry if I missed it earlier, Afterfov. You know, that's almost like a Joker Batman, what makes you different from me? Or something along those lines. Right? Can you imagine that as a great big conflict? Or as a point of revelation that would actually just have the stomach drop out of our hero and the band that he or she is rolling with? But now we have someone who's been doing this for a while. She has reasons to do what she does. And because she has those reasons, we actually can entertain a high-tier villain. Probably not an... I don't think we have an Elder God tier villain. But I think we have at least a high-tier villain. And whether or not we want to put her on a redemption arc or anything like that, that's all things that can be brought up. Those are things that can be explored. But now that we have this as the basis for our world, we know that there's going to be a nautical theme or at least a history. We know that the Fae and maybe even fiends are involved. Otherwise, why would there be someone who hunts them? Why would there be this mystical night order that is established that she wants to jockey for favor, position, and even control over? We have done a lot of world building by the creation of this randomized villain. And it all happened because of this fun process. We didn't have to think very hard about it. We didn't have to agonize. We didn't have to pore over a lot of things. A lot of what you were talking about out there, everyone, that's just what was off the cuff, what you all thought about by connecting the dots yourself. It would be interesting to have her have to ally with Fae to remove fiends as a conflict. Ooh. So a morally gray portion as well. And I'll tell you what, let's do one last thing here. If you all like this randomization, let's give her a name, shall we? Satirical Sage says she's mad. I tells you mad, completely batty, wackadoo, deluded and dangerous. I say boil her in her own holy water. Coffee Cat presents. Will you please type exclamation point 1d6 in chat? Exclamation point 1d6, please. Stops on a 4. All right. So 4 plus 2 is 6. We have a 6-letter name. So keep things like Rusted Knight, Rustolia. Keep that in mind. I'm going to show you a fun little. I'm going to show you all a fun little naming way you can randomize names. So we have a 6-letter name here. Satirical Sage. I would like you to type exclamation point 2d6. No, not 2d6. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop. It's a trap. You'll literally die if you type that into chat. Exclamation point 2d20, please. You'll metaphorically literally die if you do that. Oh, yeah. So we can include twists like that too, Tio. And we'll make notes of that in just a moment. Yeah, in game, in Minecraft. 10 and a 3. Let's see. Ready to nap. Will you please type exclamation point 2d20 into chat? $17 and $18. Have a good night, Hero Dragon. Thanks for hanging out. Then lastly, Capo Drazi, can I get 2d20 from you as well? Oh yeah. Oh, like it's a vibe. It's an energy, right, Coffee? And by the way, if y'all are curious about what I'm doing, if you go to the pinned comments, in our table talk here. Let's see. Capodrazi is not with us. Plutonian, will you please type exclamation point 2D20 in chat? Oh, actually, you know what? Coffee Cat, it should have been a 1D8 and not a 1D6. Will you please give me a 1D8 roll instead, Coffee Cat? And Pluto gives me a 3 and a 7. Alright, so we're going for 9 letters. Rip Artist, can I get a 2D20 roll, please? $13-1. And then I need one more letter. Let's see. Who is hanging out still? Coffee Man, can I get a 1D20 roll in chat if you're still with us? Coffee Man 71. Okay. So, we're getting 9 letters. We're gonna go odds and evens for consonants and vowels. Okay? Odds and evens for consonants and vowels. Consonant, 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 and consonant. We have 2 vowels. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 7 of these. All right, so we have another round of letters to generate. Who else is hanging out here that might not have rolled? Demon Quiller, I don't know if you're still hanging out or if you're just popping in to check EXP. After Fov, I don't know if you're hanging out. Goblin Town. Goblin Town, if you're still here, can I have you type exclamation point 2D20 into chat? $19-3. So I really should have done the first round in the D6s because I can go up to 4D6. But anyway, you get what we're going for. 19-3. Then can I get... Let's keep this going. Hero Dragon went to bed. Simba, are you still hanging out with us? Dex Strength Khan, are you still with us? After Fov, exclamation point 2D20, please. One and 11. Coffee Cat presents 2D20, please. And Plutonian, Can I get you to type one more D20 into chat? Exclamation point 1D20 from you, Plutonian, and 2D20 from Coffee Cat Presents, please. We have a 3. And if Coffee Cat isn't here... Rip Artist, can I get a 2D20, please? $13.15. All right, let's take a look. We have, according to this, we have an X, D, B, N, D, Q, and S. Now, I need 2 vowels. Can I have Ready to Nap give me a 2d6 roll, please? Exclamation point 2d6. Three and 1. We have an I and an A. All right, everyone. I want a name. I want a name from those letters. You can mix them up. You can add hyphens or apostrophes. You can, we can play around with some things here. These are the letters of the name that our villain is going to have as at least part of her title, her nickname, her family name, something about the name of the character. Now, not that the other names that were thrown out there are bad. This is simply a randomization I wanted to show off to you all. Because there was also, let's see, Sedana, Feroa, Oadera. What else was thrown out there? Rusted Knight. Rustolia. Dixon Band? The second more like a Dizib. 6 bands the 10th. But there's no Q in there ready to nap. Diz-Zeb. Ixabanks. Ixabanks. Banks. Cabandix. The Q is silent. Sardo. accent on the dough. Quinn Badnix says Ice Voltage. Also, Ice Voltage, thank you for the first time comment here. Q6 bands. After FOV, that is, we only have, or you're clarifying the pronunciation. Get that apostrophe in there. Now, if we go with, there's a lot of interesting ones. If we go with like, oh, 6 bands, is she known as the 6 bands for some reason? Not that we have to just go with 6 bands. Quizix Bonds? Quizix Bonds. Rip Artist says she's been both sacked and binned. That would make anyone really grumpy if you've been both sacked and binned. Maybe a reference to her thumb screws. Hi, Miller. Good to see you. She's Bond. Quizix Bonds. Maybe this is the name that the Fae or the Fiends give her as well. In their language, she is known as Dovahkiin, you know? Kin B Zad. Bands and bonds are similar in function. Mr. Saturn, well, hello. One of my favorite items to throw at people in Smash Brothers. It's a pleasure to have you here in the Hero Zone. Welcome. Well, I'm open to more ideas, but I think you all get the gist of how to come up with a random name as well. And we can take it, we can step sideways with it and take an interpretation of this is her name, this is her occupation, this is what her enemies call her, this is just her working title or a false identity. This could end up being a lot of things, but we have a very interesting core concept. Ice Voltage says, let's see, Q Sabin Dinks Silent Q. 7 dinks. Mr. Saturn is goat, says Tia Most Frio. Sounds like a weird blaming on the enemy lexicon for her. Well, look, if her enemies are the Fae, have you all seen Gaelic? The fact that we even had 2 vowels to work with and not all consonants is a miracle. Have you seen Gaelic? If her enemies are fiends and Fae, I think this is a very interesting thing that she has maybe even adopted the name given to her by her enemies. Mr. Saturn says it's also my favorite item and favorite retro game from Earthbound. Yes. Yep, Mr. Saturn. He is just a little guy with a bow that shatters shields. Yeah, just a small guy. Miller, I decided to use my job's name backwards as my new world. Brilliant, and a lot of people do that, and a lot more should, especially if they're getting frustrated at coming up with a name for a location, a villain, a hero, whatever.